Impeachment drama kicking into high gear on Capitol Hill. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the trial against President Trump will likely start next Tuesday. So mark it on your calendars. Speaker Nancy Pelosi is expected to end her month-long showdown with the House voting tomorrow to transmit articles over to the Senate. The Democrats are trying to dictate the terms of the trial and pressure Senator McConnell.
If you want the truth, you have to have witnesses. You have to have documents.
The Senate should conduct a fair trial. A fair trial involves witnesses and documents. What is the president hiding from the American people?
When you have witnesses and you have documents, you have a full and fair trial. When you don't, you have a cover-up.
But Republicans think Democrats should be careful what they wish for.
It harms every senator running for president, with Iowa being February 3rd, and benefits Joe Biden. Joe Biden should actually make a pledge not to campaign while impeachment is on.
If the prosecution gets to call a witness, the defense should as well. If the prosecution gets to call John Bolton, then the president should be able to call Hunter Biden.
All right, Jesse, I was trying to think of a metaphor, but I couldn't think of one. But maybe you can, with the permission to make an analogy granted to you right now. What is it like when you've had a month away from talking about impeachment, and now you have to gear back up for next Tuesday and remember all those names and all of those things? Like, I just don't know if people are going to want to do that.
It's like being on injured reserve the whole season, Dana, and then you got to go out and you got to play the game, and you just got to remember the playbook.
Okay, that's a very good analogy. Thank you.
I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was a sports
Does
analogy.
that ever work out for the injured reserve player?
Yeah. Just look the other night. The LSU guy came back to tight end. He had a huge game, and he's been hurt all year.
That's true. I saw that.
What about Lou Gehrig?
What about Lou Gehrig?
Lou Gehrig, he's sad.
All right, I took us
You
down
can't
the
even
wrong path.
remember who was there before.
I took us down the wrong path, but I do think that
Yes.
it is hard to gear back up to talk about impeachment again.
It is, but I'm ready, Dana. I can talk
okay.
about that all day. And now we know why Nancy Pelosi held the article. She wanted to squeeze concessions out of McConnell and frame the thing as rigged. She wanted to make sure the Democrats could participate at the debate tonight on CNN. I'll be watching Hannity, though. And thirdly, she wants to handcuff Bernie and Liz Warren in the swamp while her favorite candidate, Joe Biden, gets to roam free and close hard by himself in Iowa. Now, all of those reasons are purely partisan political reasons. They have nothing to do with fulfilling her duty to carry out her constitutional duty, check and balance the President of the United States. But we knew that, all right? Now, if I were a Republican in the Senate, I would say no witnesses. The House had its chance. That's not our job to do witnesses. Plus, it was a radically unfair deal in the House. You're not going to get that fairness from us. And if you guys want to roll the dice on witnesses, I think there's more of a risk for Democrats than there are Republicans, because you know they're going to acquit the president. But what you don't know is what's going to come out of a testimony under oath from, I don't know, Where's Hunter? Or how about the whistleblower? Or Shifty Schiff? Or Chalupa? Our friend Chalupa. So anything could come out of that, which could bury the Biden campaign, which could expose the hoax from the get-go. And I don't think a Bolton testimony hurts the president at all.
Juan, I imagine you don't see it that way.
No, well, first of all, if I was a senator, I like that, Jesse. That was cool.
Yes.
Jesse has the advantage. He has the skinny tie today. I have a fat tie. I would say there were two new developments today. One was that there will be the vote to send the articles tomorrow, and two, the selection of managers in terms of who's going to actually argue the case and how it's going to be done, apparently along the lines of how it was done during the Clinton impeachment. You know, about a 6-day process. So I think we're looking at 2 weeks. I would say this. I don't think that you can any longer underestimate Nancy Pelosi. Yesterday there were stories, including stories about Democrats grousing about Pelosi and delaying the transmission of the articles. But I think what you said is right. Clearly now, there's a tremendous focus on the Republicans on admitting witnesses and documents and having a full trial. There's not going to be any speedy acquittal, which was initially what the White House and Senator Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, were thinking about. And I would say Hunter Biden, he'll never be a witness. You know why? because the moderate Republicans, who are now, I think, starting to assert themselves because of Nancy Pelosi, are never going to say, oh, yeah, sure, bring in immaterial witnesses.
It's not Hunter Biden, it's Where's Hunter.
Well,
Where's is his first name now.
Greg, there's someone over at MSNBC was being a little critical.
No.
I would like to show that to you.
How
and let
dare
you
they?
Respond. Let's play that.
My word.
That's one of the reasons why Trump kind of wants you to watch CNN instead of MSNBC.
Sure.
Because he knows on MSNBC there will be no one defending him because we don't bring on liars. CNN has people on the payroll who they pay to tell their lies to the CNN audience in the middle of, a CNN hour for some number of minutes.
A little CNN, MSNBC argumentation.
Oh, I love that. It's like what he's basically saying, if you're going to put on a play, you got to pick your own performers. How dare you bring anybody that might disagree? Look, viewers need to be aware that the media is going to turn up the flame on the rhetoric. They're going to be, because of the problem you stated before, that there's been this lapse in time. It's like summer vacation. You got to get the kids back in school. So they're going to try to make this hiccup into a heart attack with their rhetoric. And what I resent, and I'm going to betray my own weakness here, Dana. Okay. I resent that the Democrats and the media are playing the tune and making us dance. We have to dance to this tune. This is not a story. The media is like a drunken cowboy firing its 6 shooters at our feet saying, dance, hippie, dance. And so we have to dance, and we have to pretend that this is real. We know that this is an emotional exercise to score points against Trump. We know that's all it is. The Dems, I again am the person giving the advice to the Democrats. They're basically going through a wedding, even though all signs point to divorce. We know how this is going to end. Trump is going to maintain his presidency, and he's going to redefine impeachment as a badge of honor. And I'm trying to tell the Democrats, this is going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you. But they don't listen. And why don't they listen? I'll tell you why, Dana. Sunk costs. Sunk costs are the investment in something that you don't get back. Right? In a relationship. You stay with a bad relationship because of a sunk cost. You stay at a job forever because of a sunk cost, because you feel like if you leave. That's what impeachment is to them. It's an emotional investment that they're seeing as a real investment. So they can't abandon all that work when they should just step back and go, you know what? We won. We poked daddy in the eye with impeachment. We can move on, but they're not. They're going to chase this thing down. It's going to hurt them, and it's going to reelect Trump.
What do you think of it? Yeah, here are my 2 analogies for it. So
only I do analogies.
No, I'm going to have 2. So the first is exactly what you're saying. This is the Jussie Smollett of politics, which is that the Democrats, they can never go back on their word. They have to see it through. Right. Remember how he then sued the city for malicious prosecution, and everyone was like, wait, really? That's what they're doing. They are so far down that road.
They're Smolletting.
Yes. They are Smolletting. And then I feel like the problem with your analogy for the injured reserve is that unlike the impeachment trial, everyone cares about the football game. We want that guy to come play. We want to see, everyone wants to see. They want to know what's happening. With this, no, we don't. So this is like, to me, when you get all geared up to go skiing, and then you have on your 60 layers, and you almost get to the chairlift, and then you have to go to the bathroom. And you have to go all the way back down to the and take it all off and go to the bathroom and put it all back. So no one cares. No one's going to remember this. And by the way, this is the Senate's, however, opportunity to show a measured, impartial response that the House theatrics were anything but. And if the impeachment managers from the House are the media whores we know them to be, they're going to continue the circus. They're going to attempt to by using that rhetoric especially.
Yes.
But hopefully the senators will kind of stay away from that.
I'm never going to forget that skiing analogy.
Well, that was going to ask you,
right?
Well, why don't you just do what most people do, which is just let it go? But usually in an hour it dries and everything's good.
Excuse me.
2 pairs of underwear.
You know what? I've told you about that yellow snow. I've told you before.
You knew it had to get somewhere.